and welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known for the last 40 years as the Money Lady. And again, my goal in doing this show, it's been on DATV in the local market and nationally for over 14 years now, consecutively, for those of you who have been faithful. Yes, it does require a tremendous degree of commitment, which in today's chaotic world, that seems to be a foreign term, but it's one that I set my words on, which is when you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't lie, don't play, just do it. And I so enjoy the opportunity. I think it's a gift to share information with you, my viewing audience, on a weekly basis to bring you current on things that you need to know about, particularly when it comes to you and your family and the survival tools that are necessary in this very, very difficult time. As a background for those of you who may not be long-term viewers, I am an economist by training and experience. I've gone to graduate school many years ago, international economics, to become an authority, a trained, not opinion, trained on the economy, how things work in terms of money and resources, and gives me an unusual insight into what happens and what doesn't, particularly as it relates to the United States of America. Secondly, I went into my own personal practice, handling insurance, investments, banking, real estate, estate planning, all of those things. I did that in my early 30s. And again, that's been 43 years ago. Bringing, again, the background I have as an economist into the world of boots on the ground, which is what you and I go through every day. I did this show with a profound commitment to helping you to navigate these rough waters, because I well recognized, and still do, present tense, that very few Americans are educated on how the world of money works and what they need to do to improve their personal and family circumstances. We've only got a finite time to live on this earth, unless you think you're going to reincarnate as a frog or something. I don't think that's going to be my fate. However, in that finite period of 70 years or so, there are certain things that you have to have in place to be able to leave something of value to your family, your children, your grandchildren, even great-grandchildren in many cases. And if you don't have an understanding of economic systems and what happens, you're going to miss it. It's deeper than you having life insurance, so that your kids won't get stuck, or that they won't have to try to raise money through GoFundMe. I mean, that's barbaric. That is. But that's what many people find themselves having done. They've lived all their life just kind of randomly. Get married, have some kids, try to have a house, maybe. Try to buy a car or two, probably. Take a few trips, go into debt a lot, and find yourself aging because it showed up. Or did it show up? Because actually, every day that you live another day, you're aging another day. And young people have yet to understand that. Older people, we know. It's like one day you're looking at babies and another day you're looking at grandchildren. How did that happen? Or you're dealing with sickness, or you're dealing with just an internal reorganization. I can't explain it so that it makes sense. But I will tell you, in this show that I'm doing right now. And this was a deviation from what I had planned. But one of the producers, we made a comment because I had a cane. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, here it is. I came into the studio with a cane. Yeah. They were like, what? I'm like, yeah, comes fast. You know what I mean? Comes fast. So I decided, rather than focusing on another topic that I do want to talk about, and I will in an upcoming segment on BRICS, BRICS, and the significance of BRICS in your life, because it's not coming, it's here. And you can Google capital B, capital R, capital I, capital C, capital S, which is the economic machine that is emerging in countries that were considered beneath the United States. But that's not the case anymore. Everything's changed, including getting older. Because believe it or not, there are many of us who still remember when televisions went off at midnight with a buzzing sound and a line on the screen. That was the end of it. Sometimes they played the Star Spangled Banner. Sometimes they didn't. It just went off the air. And now you've got television 24/7. But I want to deal with the subject of aging because we live now in a world system where there are five generations of people living, starting with the elderly, who are over 85 and are still alive. And in that group of elderly are the centenarians, which are the fastest group of elderly people. Those are the people that are over 100. It used to be a novel thing to be 100. Now it isn't. There's a whole bunch of people that are over 100 and living very vibrant lives. I went to the funeral of a wonderful woman who crossed over at 101. She just went to sleep and was escorted out of here. And she's not alone. There are many, many people that live very long lives now. And actually, I'd like to interview some of them because I need to know what their secret is to living long, fulfilling lives. See, it's one thing to just be alive, which a lot of people, young people too, are just alive. But people that watch this show, I think you have a little bit more going for you than that. So, kind of to rewind, I shared with you my professional background, my expertise as far as projecting international and national events, and we are in the midst of an event right now that is unprecedented. And my heart sorrows and it hurts when I think of the number of people that are going to be devastated, including people in my age group and in my category, which are, I talked about the elderly, then we talk about the seniors. And the seniors are people that are essentially over 55. Yeah, AARP, when you start getting notices from AARP, you got to come out of denial. They deal with information-based data. They know your secrets. And that's why they want you to join. Because what started off as a very small organization is now huge because of the number of older people that are involved with that organization, including myself. The first time I got a notice encouraging me to join, I think I was 55. And I was like, what? No. Yeah. You want to do that. So, no, they're not paying me to do an endorsement. I'm doing it because you need to take advantage of what that membership brings. And it's so dirt cheap, it doesn't even matter. But again, that's a component of aging, which is coming out of the denial. And then when you move on down the food chain, you have three other groups. You have your X generation, you have your millennials, and then you have a group that's emerging. But all of these groups are out here today and all of us have a very different cultural experience and even lingo and conversation. I learned some terms that I didn't even know existed this past week from millennials who made a comment about sexuality. And my generation, that was very discreet. Although it didn't stop people from getting pregnant and doing everything, they just did it differently. And young people today are just upfront. You have to remember that this is a generation that grew up on The Simpsons, that grew up on golly Moses, reality TV. Yeah, think about that from the eyes of a 5-year-old. They grew up with an African-American male president, 2 terms, not 1 term, 2-term president. They grew up with all kinds of bizarre things happening as a normal course of their life. So they're not confused. We are, the older generation, we are culturally extinct. Our way of viewing things is not necessarily proper or appropriate. That's why many of your grandkids will tell you, Grandma, don't say anything, because everything that comes out of your mouth is racist, sexist, misogynistic, cray-cray, and it's not deliberate. It's just because we've got 5 generations running around out here with very different cultural experiences. Now, why do I say this? Because you're going to find out, if you haven't figured it out already, baby boomers who are now seniors, that you need to make provisions for your own care, because your grandkids will probably not be available. In fact, it's such a different world, and I got kind of smack center into it myself with my own children, who basically thought I was from another planet. They really did. They couldn't understand why I struggled with internet, which, by the way, for those of you that don't know, public libraries are teaching classes on how to use not only the internet, but how to use your computer. I would urge you, if there's any vacancy, that you get on the list, because it is a tragedy that the elderly and seniors do not know how to do computers. It's more than games. Computers are violently appropriate today, and I say violently because you're going to have to come by force. You're not going to volunteer to learn this stuff because your brain is not wired. Like I tell people, that's stuff you need to learn in your teen years when your brain is fresh and uncluttered. Not when you're 70 and 80 and you got to figure out how to type the keyboards and you got to figure out how to do this. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking a beginner's class. Yes, I am, because when I came out of grad school, we were doing Unix, which is ones and zeros and one. The system is so far beyond that. I pecked way too slow. I was totally dependent upon my staff to do all the things I didn't want to do related to computers. And I was fortunate enough to have smart people that worked for me. In fact, one of them, Jeff, set up my entire computer system for the corporation. Saved us hundreds of thousands of dollars because it was easy breezy for him, but it was terror for me as a CEO. What? And I tell people, look, it's no crime to say you don't know. Now that's what this generation is about. They know you don't know because you're messing up all the time in front of them. Like I tell my grandson, he said, give me your passcode. I said, what is that? He said, give me your phone. I gave him the iPhone. He said, I think you told me your password. And he keyed it in. And believe it or not, the television came on. I haven't been able to get the television to work in months. He did it at 6 years old. He whizzed through my phone and the television in less than 5 minutes. And he said, now I've set this up for you to work, for it to work for you, Mimi. So you don't have to be scared. I said, I'm not scared. He said, yes, you are. It's on your face, Mimi. Whenever I bring up TV, your face starts to turn in a certain direction. I told him, you're right, because my generation was never told how to do it. And he told me, well, you just practice till you figure it out. And I was like, wow, now that's an insight. Practice until you figure it out. Is that why we're bombing everybody all over the place? Because we're practicing until we can figure it out. That is amazing. That's amazing. But back to this subject today. I was going to talk about bricks, but now I'm going to talk about the trauma of aging. And whether you believe it or not, and I don't care who you are, it is traumatic. It's traumatic when your body does not move the way it used to. That when you dance, even if it's just playing with your grands or your kids, that you know you're going to pay the next day. In fact, you're going to pay that day. Because your body parts are like, no, you did not. And you're like, but I want to do this. And like, no, you did not. Oh my God. Or when you are in a gathering, church or otherwise, and you just fall asleep. No notice, head down, and you begin to realize, oh my gosh, I've seen old people do that. And your brain says, and what do you think you are? And I'm like, chronologically, but not in terms of my emotional maturity. It's like, go to sleep and shut up. So you nod off and you go to sleep until the lady next to you does a boom. Miss Graves, you need to wake up. You're asleep. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. I guess I just fell asleep. That happens a lot. That's an indicator. And don't feel guilty about it, because if it's in an inappropriate environment, somebody will boom and wake you up, including movie theaters, which, believe it or not, I went to see Jurassic World, the new one, and with my brothers, both of them, and my sister. We're all seniors now. And we all sat in the very front seats, first row. Why? Because all the tickets were sold out except the ones in the first row. And so we said, well, we used to do this. And I said to myself, do I really want to look at a dinosaur front and center? But I did, and I actually fell asleep at one point. And I got this, sis, you're snoring. Oh, God, this is terrible. I got to do better. Does this sound like you? I mean, you can be open. The movie was fantastic. It really was. Now, I'm a science fiction and monster movie person going back to childhood, where I was living at that time as a child in Falmouth, Kentucky, because I'm a Kentuckian. And we had a little teeny-weeny movie theater that showed monster movies, Japanese made. And I remember being terrified utterly at the appearance of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which, for the record, I still don't like Tyrannosaurus Rexes. They're formidable dinosaurs, and I'm glad they're extinct. I hope. When I say I hope, Newsfeed, they are hatching dinosaur eggs and mutating them. They're creating 40-foot size birds. And I looked at that and my eyes got very, very big. What the heck do I want to see a 40-foot bird with a 100-foot wingspan? Bird, what is it, the little flapping thing? Yeah, wing. Why I want that running around in my neighborhood? What, is it a vegetarian? Is it a paleo bird? Is it Is it a meat eater bird? Am I dinner? These are not questions at my age that I want to even contemplate. Really. I don't want to look at something like that. And if there's one, there's more than one. And if it's more than one, will they have baby birds? Okay, is it a male and female? Or will it self-impregnate? Because they can do that too. I'm just like, folks, this is scarier to me than a nuclear holocaust. Why? Because they can reproduce. A bomb is only one at a time, and you won't be around anyway to talk about it. Chances are they will be around. But this is the kind of stuff, and my children think, oh, Mom, you're just worried way too much. And I said to them, we were not talking about robots other than Rod Sterling and other esoteric scientist-minded writers. When I was young, I don't like to entertain the thought of an alien walking around down here, no matter how sexy and interesting it may look. The reality is that at my age, I don't think so. So what are some of the real concerns as we grow older? These are just me talking to you direct, the good and the bad. The good is that when you reach my age, so many people have died and are actively dying that you are focused on living the reality of right now for yourself. Translated, I don't really care what you think about me. I'm just grateful to be alive and to have grandchildren and to have children that are balanced and are not on drugs and not living at home with Mom talking about esoteric things that mean nothing to me. And that's the level of grace I am in right now. I am completely empathetic to people that have no money at my age. And before you say, how does that happen? Well, in America, that's easy. You don't make enough money. I just said that's easy. Now, for some of you that are younger and are on that fast pack of making a ton of money, wait till you cross 50 and see how corporations look at you then. Okay, that's going to be really interesting how that plays out. Because I will tell you, within my generation, and we were gung-ho on education and success and blah, 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 blah. But nobody told you that unless you have a lot of money, that you're going to be on a treadmill that's not going to take you anywhere. And when I say that, the statistics bear it out. The average retiree retires with $25,000 in their bank account. That's the average. That means they've compiled all the income, and that's what they come up with. $25,000 to reflect a lifetime of trying to live and raise a family and buy a house and buy some cars and pay for kids' school and pay for kids' summer camp and pay for your parents because now they're sick. Okay, and pay for your grandkids who want to go to college. Yeah, the thing that you promoted so heavily. They heard you. Grandma, I want to go to college. Okay, well, you need to do that. You need to get well, you can't you help? Baby, I can't help me. $25,000. Now, I'm not talking about the billionaires, the 1%, who did not live on a little bit of money. They were business owners. They had inherited wealth. Oh, yeah, the rich pass on their wealth to their children. They may not take it to heaven, but they're going to make sure the children's life is heaven on earth. So you got this going on. For working class and poor people, don't be ridiculous. Even if you had $100,000 or $1 million life insurance contract with cash value, how long do you think those children would live on that money that's left? Trust me, given the lifestyles today, not long. Not long. So focus on burying yourself and making sure that you get what you want. Because trust me when I tell you, they are not going to be running around investing your money. That's not what this generation does. They just don't. And you're not going to change it because it's inbred. Meaning they watch so much television, they played so many games, they've looked around and seen so many unhappy people, particularly old people or elderly people or senior people. They're like, oh no, you're not doing this to me. I'm not going to get Social Security. I'm not going to get health care because the country's broke. Then I need to go for what I need to go through, which is I'm moving in with grandma. And I'm going to live off of her until she dies. And then I'll have a little bit of money. That's where we are today on the subject of aging. But on the positive side, let's talk about the good side. And the good side of getting older, I have found, is that I may not move as fast as I did in my 20s and 30s, but I am thrilled to get from point A to point B. I'm just beside myself. And if I can do it without a cane and without pain, that's even better. Do you know what the number one senior problem is today? Pain. Their bodies are a mess. It didn't have anything to do with what they ate, but it has everything to do with their lifestyle in their younger years. All that bumping and grinding and running around and doing this and doing that. Oh, your body's like, I'm here to make you pay. And so you go from one doctor to another, and you find that you still have pain and worsening pain. So that's the reality check that seniors get, which is pain will now become a part of your life, probably for the rest of your life, unless you choose to go into invasive surgery, which is where they stick stuff in your back and legs and replacements, and so you go from pain to hobbling with pain. I mean, but it's a part of the script. The other thing that's a positive of aging is that you don't feel bad telling people no. They want to borrow money? No. They want this? No. You don't feel bad at all because you realize that you're not lending them money, you're giving them money because you're not going to get it back. Rarely. Rarely. Why? Because if they weren't making it before, chances are with your little bit of money, they're not going to be making it after. So I tell seniors, whatever you do, when you give money to your children, consider it an advance on their estate planning work. That you're giving them their inheritance now. It's in the Bible, by the way. When the father's son took the prodigal son, where he cast in on his inheritance and said, I'm out. And that's what he did. He was out. And the father went right on about his business because his inheritance was not the father's current cash flow, which is what a lot of people are dealing with now. I can't get Junior out of the house. Starve him. No, he comes up at night and he eats and he eats everything. Wow. I don't know what to tell you except stop feeding him. Go out all the time. Don't eat at home. Don't leave anything in the fridge but water. You can be creative when you're dealing with a 40-year-old son. And that's what I am finding with a lot of seniors, which is, I didn't ask for this. And I'm like, but it's on your perch in your backyard looking at you. I'm hungry. The power of no. Just no. And if they talk about you, so what? So what? It's not going to matter. It really is not going to matter. Let's talk about something else related to aging. Not just the power of no, self-awareness. As you begin to accept that your face in the mirror is not the face of a younger woman. It is what it is. I look different than when I was in my 20s and 30s. I should. I've been on the earth longer. Radiation is real. Ages you. Yes, it does. Radiation ages you, whether it's from the sun or other exposures to radiation. But we do know that it ages you. And you're going to be looking at a different woman looking back at you in your 70s and 80s. And then when you roll into your 90s and you accept the reality of what that is and what it looks like. Not for everybody, but most 90-year-olds are not particularly physically appealing and attractive. Why? Because bone deterioration is now in motion. Why? Because you got other conditions that are inhibitors, and you've got to deal with them. And the doctor is officially your friend. Medications are officially your allies. They help you. Now, the side effects, you don't like those, but what the heck? You're not working. So go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Nobody will ask why. Okay, they won't. Self-awareness as a positive part of aging, which is, since you don't have to be the smartest in the room, because really for many of them you aren't in the room anyway, but if you happen to be in the room, you don't have to be compelled to respond to anything or answer anything. Or if you do answer, your comments are going to be slow and thoughtful. It does not mean that you're having some type of a heart attack, although that's possible, but that you're thinking about what they're talking about. And if you do say something, it's going to be on point. It won't be rambling all over the place. Okay. So the awareness of who you are and what makes you tick is very important. I have found, and this is a remarkable thing, but I have found that the older you get, the less inclined you are to embrace another person's perceptions of the situation. You wash dishes a certain way, the other person washes dishes another way. You don't like them coming into your home, washing your dishes another way. So before you say to me, well, Michelle, we need to get along. And if I have people in my house, and I will say, time out, bzz, stop. It's still your house. Am I not correct? Your imprint is all over that house. How you like things and what you like is on you. That's self-awareness, which is, I may tolerate it, but I don't like it. And why should I? It's my house. I've come into a cadence and an agreement with myself. I like my house. Do you like your house? Are you appreciative of people coming in as guests or whatever? Modifying, unless they're an interior decorator, and even an interior decorator does have to have the conversation with you before they start Xing items to be sold or disposed of. But when you find yourself in a social interconnect where this is a behavior exhibited by someone else, you might find yourself annoyed and then extremely radical, which is, how do I get this person to leave now? Now, this in your younger years was not what you did typically, because you were going to accommodate, you were going to be easy, you were going to be nice. But at your age now, with years behind you and lessons learned, you have your safe space and you like it. And I'm here to tell you, enjoy your space, whatever it is, enjoy it. I am a very meticulous housekeeper. My mother was like that. My grandmother was like that. My great-grandmother was like that. Pick up after yourself. That's what a trash can is for. Keep your things neat and orderly. So when I encounter people and environments that show to the contrary, I get very anxious. Does that mean I need meds? No. It means I need to cut my losses and eliminate them from my social network of people that I like. Because I don't live like that, and that's not something I want to do. Now, that's a hard press for people that live like that. But believe me, everybody's okay with what they do. And I'm okay with you. But you don't have to be a part of my world, and I don't have to be a part of yours, and it's okay. Okay? That's what aging does to you. It's okay. All right? If I take all day folding clothes and ironing, and you choose not to at all, but you pay the Chinese laundry or you pay somebody else, you don't know why I iron, because I can certainly afford to hire somebody, but maybe I get a sense of satisfaction. Okay? I iron my mother's clothing. She's in a facility. She can't iron, but she likes clothes that feel good. And she always had very, very expensive taste. So I wash and iron her clothes and take them to the facility. Now, before you go into, but that's just such a waste of time. Would you please shut up? Nobody asked your opinion. And if I ask it, it was not to hear that. But maybe a word of encouragement, which is, man, it's hot as heck outside and you're out there ironing. Yeah, because in Kentucky, that's what we were raised to do. So I'm doing it. And it's no big deal because she's very elderly and she's very loving and she appreciates it. Yeah, she does. She says, I appreciate it. No big deal. It's what I appreciate doing. Okay? So these are the things that happen when you're older. When you're younger, what do you know about ironing? Do they even make irons anymore? I can't believe young people use them. I just can't. I mean, they wear them and toss them. I'm like, I know you got them on Temu. I know you didn't pay much, but do you have to throw them in the garbage? Can't you recycle them? Can't you do? Nah, just buy some more. Well, who am I to criticize how you spend your money? But in the end, your spending irresponsibility is going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt me, because that's less money in your pocket and more money in the pockets of the Chinese, who have all the daggone money anyway, including a bunch of ours, okay, because we loaned it to them because we couldn't pay our stuff. They said, we'll buy your debt. You don't have anything else we want, but we do like that land. We'll take all that land. We do like, our people need someplace to farm and to live, you know, but you all have a penchant. This is what the Chinese are. The problem with you all, and I live there so I can speak to, the problem with you all is you always kill people. You all are always killing people. Why do you want to kill people? Like, it's in the DNA. Okay, it started with how they got over here, killing tribes and killing each other. It's addictive. Okay? So, what am I saying with all of that? Awareness. Don't bemoan, and you do this when you're older. When you see young people doing outrageous things. I mean, like, whoa! Yeah, where do you think they learned it? Yeah, for real. My generation, the baby boomers, were wearing hot pants, bralettes, smoking all kinds of illegal stuff, and then worried about their children coming out crazy. Yeah, and for the record, your children did. They did not disappoint. All that cocaine, all that marijuana, all those, fentanyl, please. I'm talking about some ratchety stuff. And you all know what I'm talking about. Don't act naive. It doesn't look good to be old and naive. Oh, I said that word, old. Well, you're not young. And I, for one, am grateful to be able to look the way I look, feel the way I feel on the inside. It was a journey and it was a problem because in our culture, we were raised in profound denial, which is, it may look like that, but it's not. You're like, but it looks like that, but it's not. Yes, it is. It looks exactly what you saw. It does. So be at peace with it and be okay with it. Another thing that comes along with aging is a recognition of the finality of your life, which means you don't have a lot of time to just play crap games with people. I mean, if people are out of here by 70, then you need to be enjoying every bit of your life. And it doesn't have to come in the form of spending a lot of money. You can make a sandwich and sit in the park and look at the birds. And people used to say, why are they always looking at birds? Because birds are always happy. They wake up in the morning. I got 2 birds outside of my window that are as reliable as roosters. And they are chirping loud, like, wake up! Can't you see? And you know what? I stop grumbling and I get up and I listen to them chirp and I say, how you all do that every morning at the same time? I don't even need an alarm clock. I got you guys. They're just happy. And you know what? That's a sign to you that no matter what circumstances you're going through, to be happy. Because this day is only in itself, and at the end of the day, you go to sleep and it's another day. A lot of people have not learned to be at peace being happy. You don't owe a person an explanation because you smile and say hello. They may return the smile and say hello. They may do like the bomb, but it doesn't matter. It's how do you feel on the inside? Are you happy? It's okay as a part of your self-growth, which is what getting older really is about. Self-awareness and then growing from that. Recognizing that you have worth, period. If God says you're worthy, you have worth. So you don't have to debate the obvious. It took me years to break through that. I really did. Because as a chocolate, Kentucky, Appalachian girl, I had issues. Why? Because, man, don't let anybody tell you that when your entire environment, white people and black people, are poor people, suffering people, struggling people. That is exactly what happens when you are growing up in that type of a situation. Okay? And city people, rah-rah. I'm a country girl. I'm highly educated because my daddy was convinced that if we stayed down there, we were going to just disappear. So we moved to the big city when I was young, but we were there every summer and every chance we could get. And I'm grateful because it kept me grounded to talk about openly with people what poverty looks like, what bad teeth look like, what bad hygiene looks like when you don't have enough water and you're all sharing the same tub. These are things that are real, so that when I'm older, and if it befalls me to have to go through that again, I'm not freaked out. I'm not. I understand that a large number of people globally, where do you think they bathe in Bangladesh? Where do you think they take baths in Ukraine when they don't have any water? I mean, come on. What do you think people are doing? Do you know that the whole world of perfume was because people smell so bad in France? Yes. So, again, it's about awareness and your soul, the preciousness of your soul. And recognizing that all people started out, in my estimation, a baby is so innocent, came straight from heaven. And they're here to show us what love feels like. And that is the big thing I want to wrap up today's session. Open up yourself as you grow older. The joy of unconditional love. Do for others even if they don't do for you, because you have the understanding that that's what makes you happy. Doesn't matter whether they're chinchy or cheap. That's their struggle. But I'm a giver. I'm just going to tell you that. I love nature. My home, my property has deer, ducks, geese, chipmunks, birds, squirrels, a bunch of them. Squirrels are crazy, totally crazy, and play all the time. They play all the time. They eat and play and dig holes. What a life, really, unless you run over them. So I can look at them and I can get refreshed in the knowledge that they're having the time of their life. They are. They're reproducing. They like it too. Don't get it twisted. They're having a great time. And that's God's way of telling us, you better have a great time, because life moves fast and then you're gone. And for some, there may be an obituary. For some, there may be a memory. And for some, there's absolutely nothing. One of my dearest friends, a very high-value Caucasian woman, Chanel, Fendi, Versace, those were her taglines. And she died without any connectivity to her spirituality. She didn't believe in God. And I told her, well where are you going to go? I don't care where I'm going. You may have a different opinion when you arrive. Okay? DOA, dead on arrival. You may want to think about what we've talked about. Because she said, I don't want to hear that, Michelle. But your soul is important. Your legacy is important. You mean something on this planet. Whether you are wealthy or not, all of us experience life and then we die. All of us experience laughter and then we cry. All of us experience the joys of having a few things and the loss of everything. We experience that. We experience the joy of children and grandchildren, if you're fortunate enough to have them and they're well behaved. Because nothing's worse than an undisciplined, unruly child. And no, I don't believe in sit in front of the wall and look at the wall. Oh, no. I'm not one of those passive people. If you're a child, you better know your place as a child, because you haven't lived life long enough to have much to say. But you can certainly listen, and hopefully if you are a good grandparent, you can certainly instruct. That you can love them and squeeze them and tickle them and laugh to your heart's content. Because at the end of the day, It's just you and him. Period. I want you to get to that as we talk about aging. And don't be ashamed about your cane. And do try to lose weight and don't eat so much. Walk, neighborly, plant. I plant flowers, I plant everything. They grow. They reward me. They are growing. Always. I'd be shocked if my plants were not flourishing because I'm flourishing. I'm happy. I am. I have a completely wicked sense of humor. And I don't care what people think. In my younger years, they used to say, highly evolved sarcasm. Whatever. Whatever. I think it's funny. And I'm going to laugh. And I used to laugh quietly. But now I really do laugh. And I laugh with everything in my belly. Because my soul is overjoyed. And I'm thrilled to be alive on earth. And I would say to all of you, particularly given the times we are now in, coming to the studio this morning, NPR said inflation is back. I told you it's back. How could it not be back? Prices are going up and up. Hello. And now that we've got tariffs in place, you're getting ready to really see things jack up. But hello, Costco. Thank you. Hello, your ability to grow anything in a pot in the earthworm. Thank you. Hello for God's unending grace to smile at you while you smile back at him. Hello. And love, which is despite how you are, I am going to live in the present tense of loving. And I have learned if you stay away from toxic people, it'll help you a whole lot in terms of your growth. You will find yourself singing, enjoying, and dancing a lot. But toxic people bring, what's that little boy on Peanuts? I can't remember. I think it was Linus. He always had dust all around him. Everywhere he came, it was like dust, a cloud. There are people like that. And you can't help them, but you can avoid them, and you can remove them from your space, because at your age, you can do just about what's going to make you happy. And if being happy means they're not in the picture, oh well, somebody else who is happy will replace them. And you'll be so glad that you did it. And that's for many of you that are married. I know the song says cheaper to keep her, and some of us should say cheaper to keep him. But the reality is, when you get older, find your peace, whatever that looks like, whatever that feels like, and just know that you will get through this. That's a promise. That's a promise. It is an absolute promise. Just like you were born, you will leave this earth. And just leave it with the knowledge and the love of yourself that will enable you to enjoy other people, laugh, and just live your life. That's what I've learned. Poverty sucks, but so does rich, and you don't have anybody to love you. Yep, figured it out. That's the money lady with her suggestions for today. The rich die lonely too. Okay, take care of yourself. God bless you. Have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.